From world leaders to historic events, this quiz will test your knowledge. You have just 5 seconds per question. Ready? Go. Which explorer sailed the Niña, Pinta, and Santa Maria? Christopher Columbus. What was the name of the first cloned sheep? Dolly. Which animals spread the Black Death through infected fleas? Rats. Who is famously associated with the phrase, "let them eat cake"? Marie Antoinette. Which Roman leader was assassinated on the Ides of March in 44 BC? Julius Caesar. Which creepy killer haunted the foggy streets of Victorian London? Jack the Ripper. Alan Shepard hit golf balls on which celestial body? The moon. What was the famous trade route linking Europe and Asia called? The Silk Road. The French Revolution began with the storming of which fortress? The Bastille. In what year did the Berlin Wall fall? (1989). The Battle of the Somme was fought during which war? World War I. The Battle of Midway was a naval plot twist in which war? World War II. Before he was a rebellion legend, what was Spartacus doing for a living? Gladiator. What top-secret project made the atomic bomb? Manhattan Project. In December 1989, the Brandenburg Gate reopened, uniting two halves of which city? Berlin. Sunni and Shia are the two major branches of which religion? Islam. Who was the last Tsar of Russia before revolution rewrote history? Nicholas II. Which U.S. president was involved in the Monica Lewinsky scandal? Bill Clinton. Which U.S. president declared, "Ich bin ein Berliner" in 1963? John F. Kennedy. Joséphine de Beauharnais married which French emperor? Napoleon. How many famous writing sisters were in the Brontë family? Three. What U.S. plan helped Europe recover economically post-World War II? Marshall Plan. In 1958, Fidel Castro took charge of which island nation? Cuba. Which invading horse lovers were the primary reason the Great Wall of China exists? Mongols. Oscar Wilde was born in which city? Dublin. Which World War II policy was basically, if we give the bully what he wants, maybe he'll chill? Appeasement. In 1959, the Dalai Lama pulled a great escape from Tibet to which country? India. Where were the princes in the tower allegedly given the worst Airbnb experience ever? Tower of London. Which duke gave Napoleon a royal whooping at Waterloo? Duke of Wellington. In which decade did John Glenn become the first American to orbit Earth? (1960s). Which country experienced the Reign of Terror during the 1790s? France. Which country was led by Prime Minister Golda Meir? Israel. What title was given to Japan's military rulers? Shogun. Which decade saw Mikhail Gorbachev introduce Glasnost and Perestroika? 1980s. Which country experienced the Klondike Gold Rush? Canada. Which Allen cracked the German Enigma code at Bletchley Park? Alan Turing. Which country was ruled by both the Shang and Qing dynasties? China. In 1948, the Soviets blockaded which city? Berlin. Yugoslavia broke apart during which decade? 1990s. In what year did euro banknotes and coins enter circulation? 2002. Napoleon Bonaparte was born on which island? Corsica. Which canal did Ferdinand de Lesseps oversee the construction of? Suez Canal. The Tet Offensive was a turning point in which war? Vietnam War. What was the code name for the 1991 coalition campaign against Iraq? Operation Desert Storm. Which South African city is closest to Robben Island? Cape Town. The fall of which ancient empire marked the beginning of the Dark Ages? Roman Empire. The Cold War began after the end of which global conflict? World War II. Germany invaded Poland in which month of 1939? September. Construction of the Berlin Wall began in which month of 1961? August. Before politics, what was Hillary Clinton's profession? Lawyer. Which tiny European island was awarded the George Cross during World War II? Malta. Who was the last monarch of the Stuart dynasty? Anne. Which German Kaiser ruled from 1888 until the end of World War I? Wilhelm II. In what year did the Falklands War occur? (1982). Which African country was founded by freed American slaves? Liberia. Isabel Perón became the first female president of which country? Argentina. What was the name of the Soviet space station launched in 1986? Mir. What was the first name of the British Prime Minister famous for Peace for Our Time? Neville Leon. Trotsky was a revolutionary leader in which country? Russia. The Stasi served as the secret police of which country? East Germany. What mega clash of tanks was part of World War II in 1943? Battle of Kursk. Which family of feminist firecrackers shared the surname Emmeline, Christabel, and Sylvia? Pankhurst. Which country had striking shipyard workers in Gdansk in 1980 who basically told communism, "You're fired"? Poland. Who became the first female prime minister in global history? Sirimavo Bandaranaike. Which country was home to the Tamil Tigers? Sri Lanka. Ronnie Biggs fled to which South American country? Brazil. What papal name did Joseph Ratzinger choose? Benedict XVI. The Yom Kippur War took place in which decade? (1970s). Inigo Jones was famous in which profession? Architecture. Corazon Aquino became president of which country in 1986? Philippines. Which Bonnie prince led the Jacobite Rising? Charlie. The Mali Empire was located in which region of Africa? West Africa. Erasmus of Rotterdam was best known in which field? Humanism. What type of bomb did Barnes Wallis invent? Bouncing bomb. In what year did John F. Kennedy become U.S. president? (1961). Mary Seacole became famous for her work in which profession? Nursing. W.H. Auden was best known for which form of writing? Poetry. Followers of which religion were expelled from Spain during the Reconquista? Judaism. What was the first name of Nelson Mandela's first wife? Evelyn. Viktor Yushchenko's Orange Revolution took place in which country? Ukraine. How many questions did you get right? Share your score in the comments and see if you can beat your friends. Thanks for playing, and don't forget to come back for more quizzes.